Whoa!
Oh, we on air? Oh, shit.
Yeah. The screen smells like links all of a sudden. It's crazy.
Nice sunny fair for tonight.
Hey everybody, it's the 13th of May. Welcome along to the Daily Debrief. Wonder author Jamie Wall will be with us in around about 15 minutes time. This is good because hiccups have just hit me right now as we started. That's really good. But he'll be with us. We'll be talking about everything that's going on in the world of rugby union and things that he's seen. There's a lot of news happening out there. We are live in Tamworth, of course, because we're over there in the Hornets' Nest. That's where Blake is. Peard is in the, what do you call it, the Pukekos lair in Te Aratu. I guess so. If we've got a Hornet's Nest over there as well. We are. But it's 13th of May. You know what the 13th of May is?
I actually do know this one. I do know
you do know?
Yes, of course. Yes, we all do know. Yeah. Yes.
Because on this day, remember in 1992, that guy Fred Turner, and he thought, you know what? There's so much people are getting just a bad rap, so I'm going to prove the goodness of people by walking across America. And he left his house. And on this day in 1992, he was robbed and pushed off a bridge into the Savannah River. That was actually 200 miles from the start of his house. So he didn't quite make it across America, but that's what happened on this day.
I was thinking you're going to go with the America's Cup.
Oh yeah.
No. Why are we? What?
I know
sorry.
What day it
sorry.
is.
Can I just?
I know what's on this day. I know what's on this day.
Why are we in love with the America's Cup?
I don't know.
Why are we so into the America's Cup? What? Like, I don't get it.
Best songs. Yes. Dave Dobbin did one. I think possibly.
Dobbs.
Sailing Away. Ham and Gamble.
I get okay.
We are sick.
Cool with the music.
Red Sox.
Cool with the music. Cool with the Red Sox. Don't understand what our obsession is with the America's Cup though, and why people are so into it.
The Prada Wives, when they came, all the Auckland women were like, "Now I feel like I dress like shit because the Prada Wives are in town." And
isn't it hard to win? Pretty hard to win.
It's hard if you don't compete, and most people don't compete, and most people aren't yachting. I'll tell you that much for free.
I'd like to be yachting.
All my friends in Gisborne, none of us got a chance to get on a yacht. It's such a niche little wee tiny kind of little wee thing that fewer people do, and even fewer people get to compete in the America's Cup. I don't know why this country is obsessed with it, or is it? And as people in the media are still really into it, and that's why we always see it. Like Channel 1, News Talk ZB, Radio Sport, Channel 3, they were all really into this America's Cup, but I didn't give a shit. Like, yeah, just sail the boat past me when you guys are doing it, but I don't. It's so not me.
It's because we are the Michael Jordan of yachting. That's why. So you know how Michael Jordan through this entire series has found the slightest thing to piss him off, like, oh, George Carl walked past me in a restaurant and didn't say hi. All right. Like that. So you don't know this, Blake. So right at the start of it, you remember this, Peard. Remember Dennis Conner, Dirty Den. He did that, and they'd beaten us, and he said to Chris, our sailor, Chris Dixon, and he tried to cover the mic, and it came out on our news, "Get off the stage, you're a loser." Said that to him, and we became Michael Jordan. And from then on, we were like, F you, give us that cup. And we're going to do it, and we'll keep winning that. And that's where it was, I reckon.
See, I didn't really think it would go into this, like Mark firing up about it and stuff. I just seen it on Instagram, and I thought, hey, I might act smart tonight on Daily Debrief.
And you always do this, Blake. You always come in with something that I'm like, you know,
and I enjoy that. Yeah. I enjoy that.
And I enjoy that about you. But screw talking about the America's Cup, mate. You're in the bloody Hornets' Nest. Tell me you've got something. You're the only media person who's allowed to be anywhere near the Warriors. You must have some breaking news for us to break right here on the Daily Debrief.
Yep. We played bingo the other night.
And someone got injured.
That was it?
Oh, no. Yeah, bingo fell over a chair.
What's been happening? Is there any nothing?
Look, that we won that prize. That's one of the hats that we won.
So that's Steve actually pretty good hats. One of the bingo prizes.
Yeah. So we played bingo. I rolled the shoulder over today. We played a bit of cricket.
Anyone get injured?
Nah, no one injured.
Okay. Is there anyone?
What you want to hear?
Anyone showing signs of flu symptoms?
No.
Anything interesting?
No.
Anybody looking like they've probably snuck out?
Yeah, breaking curfew. Anything?
Anybody get into a fight, stick up for a mate?
No.
Oh, Blake, we are bringing you home if you don't spring us some goals soon, man. We are pulling you out of the Hornets.
Are they just training again?
I think I've seen, that the Warriors are signing a new player.
Oh yes, yeah, I saw that.
Oh, yeah,
Am I breaking the news?
No,
Am I breaking the
that's
news?
already happened. What's his name?
No,
Big
wait.
fella.
Toby Rudolph.
Toby Rudolph.
Toby Rudolph.
Do we know much about Toby Rudolph? Is he the next Sonny Bill?
That's pretty.
That's what I want to hear.
High. Yeah, I don't know about Sonny Bill. He's a good player.
Oh, come on, Blake. You've got to give us more than that. You're an
I don't know.
ex-footballer.
So he's not a
People
prop,
are watching
right?
right now
he's a
going,
prop. He's
give
a
us
prop. So he's not. He's different. He's different to the props we've got. He's a bit taller.
Oh.
He's not as
This is good.
wide.
This is
He's
good.
a bit faster.
Oh.
Bit of stepping. So and also he's a very weird character, sort of out there that I like.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, we like that.
All the TikTok stuff and all the he's on camera calling himself Clive. I seen in one of the things because
Sorry, Clive.
Clive because he won the grand final.
Oh yes.
Oh, the Clive Churchill.
The Clive Churchill 2 years in a row, but in the second division, so not actually the NRL.
So he is the Clive.
Yeah. So he seems like a good character off the field, and he is a good player on the field. He started with the Sharks this year. Two first grade games this year with the Sharks.
Any type of skullduggery he's done that you know of that we can really dig something that's going to make people go.
I know you want it. I don't have it.
Oh, you
He hasn't dated the Lady Wiggle or anything like that.
Throw my key card at you.
Yes, I'm getting to you as well. All right.
Actually, I did say I might be getting sent home because one of the players interviewed me and my cameraman today, and he did a much better job than I have over the 3 weeks I've been here. So once guys see that, I'll probably be on the first plane home.
Actually, no, wait. So I saw Fuss arrived, right? So he
not with us.
No. So he goes into 14 days. So he's not there at the Mercure with you guys. Is he completely on his own for 14 days? Oh,
mate.
No.
And I don't know the things around it, but they tried to get a bike in. I don't know if they got a bike into his room, whether the government allowed it.
A bike?
Yes, to train. Otherwise, he will be sleeping and playing PlayStation. So
rather than a bike to just bike around his room and a bike for training. Yes, Blake, this is the shit. Good. Do you know if the bike got in or not?
I don't know yet. I'll find out. I'll do some reporting.
Because if he's ordered it from farmers, can I just say if he's ordered it from farmers, it's not showing up yet. Remember that time I bought a fridge? Hey, farmers, remember that time I bought a fridge last Saturday? Where it's still not here. My fridge store continues to be a 2-person operation. Thank you.
All right, guys, let me throw something at you. The NFL are already, obviously, they've already come out and said, look, yeah, we had to do a virtual draft, and yes, it's a little different, but we're marching on forward. And we all know that America is in the shit right now, and there is no way crowds are going to be ready to attend NFL football games. So the NFL, in true NFL fashion, have gone, well, we can't have any of that. We need to keep on making our billions for our billionaire owners. They've decided that to make up that money, and let me just turn over to the screen and have a quick look. They're going to be looking at new ways of bringing in advertising revenue, including, very simple this one, big tarpaulins over the empty seats that might be there with advertising on the tarpaulins.
Yep.
Simple.
Okay, sure.
Digital signage that will go up the walls, so it'll actually go further up the walls, so a whole lot of big screens around the lower part so you can see it. Another great one they've got is virtual advertising on the screens that come up the back of the football when they go for a kick on the goalposts. They bring up those big screens of nets. They're going to have advertising on that.
Fuck, man.
But the best, and this is the best by far, the helmets. They are thinking of putting green screen clips on the helmet of some of the players so that they can flash advertising up on their helmets while they are playing.
Nah, that's dumb. I don't like the helmet. I don't like the helmet. I mean, look, I get the TV presentation because there's like that weird shock of when you watch a Warriors game or when you watch like the Super Rugby games. And you know what I mean? They've got the big painted in goal and stuff, and then you're there and you're like, hey, that's not. Oh, well, far out.
I love it though. Like the NFL,
I always assume it's wetter.
They're leaving nothing unturned. They're like, shit, we need to find that cash, man. Someone's gonna make that cash. So they're bringing out the tops with advertising on it.
Sponsoring your shirt.
Bring Red Zone back.
Bring Red Zone back.
Off TV. Bring it back.
Yeah.
Charge some money. Send it around the world. Everyone will buy it.
Yeah.
I should be in there doing that job.
Yes. You've already clocked bloody the Hornets' nest. Go and get another great job, Blake. All right, let's run through some of our messages as we're waiting for Jamie to come through. Sorry, Nate. We've got evening. Aiden says, evening, gents. 12 degrees in Havelock North, but a mucky day with heavy showers throughout. The farmers will be happy with that, though. Bryce Hosking, thank you, Bryce.
Hey, Bryce.
These guys not needing to be prompted. It's always a little good, a little weather chat.
It's little
good.
things. We appreciate this.
Bryce Hosking says, very mild day in the Hutt Valley. No rain yet. Ivan says, good evening, legends. A mild 12 degrees in Cambridge tonight. There's almost a feel of anticipation in the air.
Oh, yeah, because at level 2 tomorrow. Will there be fireworks at midnight tonight, you think? There will be, some of your neighbours.
There will be.
Out of the peninsula, there will be.
Yeah, there will. There are. Yeah.
We've got it. Nathan Nippert says, is Toby a 6'6" and 120 kg meter-eating prop? That one for you, Blake. You're the one who's got the inside word on what's his name?
Toby Rudolph.
Yeah.
Is he a what? 6'6"?
120 kg meter-eating prop.
No,
he's got prayers.
No, he's a meter eater who is a prop, but he is not. He's probably about 108 and maybe 6'3".
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so he's a BC.
He's all right. He's a meter eater prop.
He'll go all right. He'll go all right, son. He'll fucking go good, mate. You good, mate. Don't you dare talk him down. Okay, let's keep continuing moving on. Nathan also said, I've never cared for the America's Cup. I had interest in 1995, but when Russell Coots hopped over to wherever, I clicked on to the fact that it's not about country versus country, but rather syndicate versus syndicate. So yeah, Z's. In other words, sleeping. I'm with you, Nathan. Z's. The rest, you fired me up again, Nathan. You should have left it be because, by goodness me, I swear it is mainstream media that pumps it in our face. None of us would even fucking know that the America's Cup was happening unless it shows up on the news or it's on the paper.
But it's TV1, right? It's always TV1.
Yeah.
And what TV1 did beautifully every year they had it was they made it news. They always, in the first quarter of an hour of their 6 o'clock news bulletins, they would find a way to do an America's Cup story because that was their big one they were building up to. It was a brilliant, and like that's what I mean. Like as far as marketing exercise has been, it's fantastic. You got the biggest free-to-air broadcaster in New Zealand saying to everyone, "Hey, watch this," and then get out your guitar, sing a song, buy some socks. Woo!
Woo!
Socks. I'll tell you what though, can you imagine? You know how we've been talking about partying nights out. Can you imagine with the amount of money that flies around the America's Cup, the nights out that some of those dudes have had?
Do you reckon they would though?
I reckon they would because they'd be paraded around by the super rich, you know. Because a lot of this, that's the problem. A lot of those sailors, they're not actually those guys. They're just more like the really good ones that get to drive the really flash stuff, you know.
Beauty.
So yeah. So that's kind of they're quite normal, quite normal dudes that do that.
Okay, well, Blake, do you have any idea as we're waiting on Jamie to call in? And that's not his fault, that's mine. I only just sent in the link. Oh, sorry, Zaid. I won't miss you, Zaid. Zaid says it's a bit of rain here in Henderson Valley today. Raining a bit in Henderson Valley today. Thank you, Zaid. Great weather chat. Do you have any idea what's up tomorrow? When do you guys pack up your bags and move on to the next city? And where is that city?
We're moving to the Central Coast so when's the comp start? The 28th. We'll be there a week before that. So whatever date that is, and we're going to the Central Coast. So we'll be up at Terrigal.
Right.
But still won't be able to leave the hotel because NRL players can't leave and mingle with public.
Right.
Okay. If I'm like the normal Kiwi and I know where Brisbane is, where is the Central Coast?
Central Coast is in New South Wales. It's in New South Wales.
So it's south.
It's at about an hour and a half out of Sydney.
And what normally goes on like there? It's a beachy place, retirement-y place?
Bit of both. It's a surfy community. So we'll be right across the road from the beach, but we can't actually go into or on the beach.
Right.
So that's the tough thing. That will be hard. There'll be a lot of pretty ladies walking around outside that I don't stare at because I'm married.
You're a married man.
Exactly, you won't be.
I know,
you don't give a damn.
That's why he said,
for the players.
For the players, don't need that distraction either, man.
Because they're going to be training.
I know, mate. You know, I'm saying it's good that we're locked in. I'm saying it's good.
Bloody pull the blinds down, mate. Do some press-ups if you're feeling a little kinky, you know. Tell the lads.
Puppies.
Shoot! It's a gun show. Thank you, Andrew Fullerton Smith, who actually brings in some real heat, saying Toby is a monster signing for the Warriors. Pretty much won the grand final for the Newtown Jets by himself last year. Pissed Sharkies fan that we couldn't hold him. Now that is heat. That's the type of man.
That's basically what I said.
You did not say that. Andrew came to hot.
He's a meat eater.
He gave a. He even mentioned the team he was playing for before he signed for the Sharkies. So why have we got? So what?
So he played for Redcliffe, the Dolphins. So he didn't play for. He played in the Queensland Cup. So it's a tier below
Right.
NRL.
Had you played against him?
Yes, I have. I think I
Did
actually
he
no,
bunch
maybe I
you off?
haven't. He probably did. He wouldn't be the first or the last player to do it. I think there's quite a few highlights out there of me on my ass. So,
I like the sound of him being a bit of an interesting rooster, though. Like, I had a look at his hair, and I was like, okay, yeah. And hearing that he's TikTok savvy, that'll fit in with the boys.
He's got big chompers too. Like when he smiles, it's a big, easy out like that. Big smiles. See, no one else said that, did they?
No.
You're right. That wasn't in the recording.
Finally, we get some.
I
real
didn't see
insight.
stuff have that.
Sorry, Jamie has called through. Jamie has actually been waiting on hold and called through on three different instruments. So I don't know how this is going to work or whether Jamie even gets to come on. But somehow he's come on another one. So I'm just going to admit them all and see if we get all three of Jamie's in. Oh, one of them's coming.
We've got one. We've got one there. Here we go. Look, connected to
Can we get all four on?
Let's see.
Jamie knows how to do this.
Yeah, there he is.
Jamie.
Look at that.
Jamie, you there? Jamie,
Hey.
come in. Jamie, can you hear us?
Hello, I can.
It's all right, mate. We're not live, so you can say whatever you like. No, we are
sweet.
live. We are live.
How's that?
Hey, fella.
Hey, brother.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, boys.
Oh,
How
Steelers.
you doing? Hey, Blake. How are you?
Hey, mate. That's a real bad.
Just let us wait for a second. No talking. Let's just have a nice look over Jamie Wall, who last time we saw was in Japan, clean shaven, a little stressed.
Zipping around.
Probably weighing in at around about, I don't know, 45 kgs. And now, after a couple of weeks of lockdown, he is filling that shirt out. He is full bearded. He is ready to roll. Jamie Wall, thank you so much for joining us, brother.
Yeah, man.
We're happy to have you
Thanks
on.
for having me.
We want to throw a whole lot of shit at you, just rugby-wise and life-wise, and see how you handle it. Are you cool with that?
Yeah. No, ready to go. Kia ora, everybody. Obviously, of course, hope you guys have been well. Obviously, a pretty stressful time for everybody, but hey, here we are, still talking sports, so that's a good thing, eh?
Yeah.
Hey, Jamie, you go on long distance tours, like you're away for weeks at a time from home. So, has any of that kind of helped with the whole? Okay, now I'm going to be stuck at home for 6 weeks, maybe in lockdown.
Oh, it's funny you say that actually, because if you remember last year at the World Cup when you guys caught up with me, obviously I'd already been in Japan for I think it was 7 weeks before you guys had shown up, and by the time you guys had, I was ready to go home, and it did actually feel a little bit like, obviously it's completely different because being away in another country and that doing that whole thing is obviously completely different to staying at home, but I did feel like this is something that I really want to have over and done with, and I think I'm obviously not alone feeling that right now.
Yeah.
Jamie, just wait for a sec. No one talk because I can't do two things at once. I'm going to take a photo of you in that Steelers top. Can you stand up a bit so we can see more of it on the screen?
BHP.
Yeah, boys. Yeah. Can we agree that this will be the #1 ranking so far of guests on screen?
Oh,
for attire?
Yep.
Yeah.
You were getting Nathan Nippers is nice rocking the OG Steelers. This is going to go #1 ranked in our on our wall of fame.
Excellent.
Of people who have been on the show for rocking just OG sportswear. So
I've got another OG one just up behind. I'll just
grab
it back a little bit.
Yeah, grab it. That's good.
That is the original Wellington jersey from the 1980s. That's the old spiderweb.
Have you put it on?
Nice.
Do you not put it on?
Oh no, I just keep it up there, mate.
Gotta get him some frame in a frame.
That's a beautiful one. So that's the who's wearing that? That's like Mike Clamp's wearing one of those, and Dave Mahunga's wearing one of those, and Scott. I loved that team. Mike O'Leary.
This one, I've got another one in the cupboard that Blake might like actually.
Go and get it. Go on. Fuck off and get it, mate. We love it when people do this. If you got his headphones on.
Oh, hold up.
Oh,
got it.
I wish I could just see up to where that Wellington jersey now. It's tantalisingly close.
See, weirdly, if it's a memorabilia, it's not framed.
Oh, calm down.
Surely gets worn.
Yeah, but it's a touch of memorabilia.
No, I definitely wear it. No, I wear it.
Okay.
When I can.
I thought he said he didn't wear it.
This is another favourite of mine.
Oh.
Yeah, here we go. These are the Kangas.
Where have we seen you wear that, Jamie? We've seen you wearing
this.
It's just I love the colour scheme. It's just
I've seen you wear that.
It's just a lovely jersey.
Okay,
so Jamie, when you picture that jersey on the field, who wears it? Like who's the guy that you look at in that?
What, the Kangaroos?
Yeah.
Kangaroos
and that version of it.
It takes me back to one of the best fan experiences I ever had. 2001, I went and watched Kiwis play the Kangaroos, and it was just this absolute star-studded Australian team. They're like Andrew Johns, bloody. Like all of
them, Jamie. Yeah, we know who you're talking about.
Sorry, I just fucking lost my train of thought. Brett Fittler, Trent Barrett, all those, Shane Webb, Petrus Silva, Danny Badeiros, all in that team. It was just amazing to see them all on the field. And I actually finally, it dawned on me when I saw that team, I thought to myself, this is what it's like when people in other countries go and watch the All Blacks play. And that's why I've always had a bit of a soft spot for the Kangaroos, because to me, it's like the one team that I hold in really high regard from overseas.
Do you still, sorry, Blake, do you still like strongly believe that Aish missed out on that jumper and was probably one of the more kind of robbed, I guess, players in their era that never quite got to put on?
I've actually got a funny story about that.
It's the Dwayne Monkley of Kangaroo.
Yeah, go with your story, Blake.
The night before the Vegas incident.
Oh, here we go.
We're in Vegas and the Kangaroos were on tour.
Yeah, they were.
A call from Tim Sheens, who was the coach at the time. I think it was the end of the 2011 season.
Oh, Timmy.
That year. And he said, mate, there's a couple of centres out already. If one more goes down, you're going to get the call up. So while you're in Vegas, I need you to stay fit. So I got off.
No.
All the boys were there because with all the Tigers boys that I was over there with, and I got off and I go, boys, I'm next in the Aussie team. How good's this? Someone goes down. Give me a beer. Let's go. The beers in. The rest is history.
And then there was a moonwalk and a missing tooth.
Who was the stubborn bastard who didn't get injured then? That would have had to go down for you to jump in the team.
Might have been Michael Jennings or Josh Morris. I think.
Jennings.
Too
durable.
It was one of them.
Morris.
Yeah. Hey, I just wanted to ask. So I'm an investigative reporter, but I didn't investigate you. Are you you're a New Zealander?
Yes,
So
I am actually.
Why the love for the Steelers and the Kangaroos?
Oh, just a big, I'm of a certain age where I'm of the generation that actually was into the old Winfield Cup before the Warriors came about, and so I'm one of the people that's definitely got a team before the Warriors. For me, it was the Steelers. I don't know why. I just guess I like the jerseys. I also like North Sydney as well, just because they had the same colours as my rugby club. So, I think guys in there sort of that's one.
Yeah, he's a Pōneke boy.
I think these guys know what I mean. When you're from New Zealand and you were around, you were into league pre-1995. You got a pretty strong attachment to those teams. And recently, I've started getting really heavily supporting into the Newtown Jets as well. I make sure I get over to Sydney, and I've got a little group of friends over there, and we have a little New Zealand Newtown Jets supporters group, and so we make a pilgrimage every year to Henson Park and do a bit of a pub crawl and take in one of the games over there.
Did you watch me run around for Newtown at all, or does it just happen? No.
Actually, Blake, you and I met last year.
You're such a sack of shit, Blake. You don't even know anyone. You're an asshole. You're the worst.
No, it's before I had this. I don't know why.
No, it's a good look though. I like it.
Good story about Blake though. I was covering the Warriors.
Oh yes, I remember. Yes, now I do. At home, we had the chat. We had the chat in the sheds. I do remember.
I was covering the team for the New South Wales Rugby League website. I was supposed to do that again this season. I went and got my accreditation. Everything obviously never got started. But I was also working for Māori TV at the time, and it was that day that Blake had a really lovely family picture done. With his beautiful family.
Yeah, those are awesome.
I thought, oh, this will be a good story. Māori TV will like this. And so I quickly went down. I was like, I'll talk to him. And, we had a good chat. And to date, it is the most read story I've ever written on any website. It went nuts. I think it had something like, on Māori TV Facebook gets really good engagement because they got some really loyal fans, but I think it got up to like 5,000 engagements and people clicking through on it. So after that, they were like, oh, because that was just when I first started with Māori TV. And then after that, they're like, oh, anything else you sort of had? And I was like, yeah, I quite like to go to the Rugby World Cup. Can we make that happen? And so after that, they were like, "Oh, well, you did real well with that stuff, so
Mate,
we'll keep that going."
I do want to apologise.
Yeah.
Sorry, just quickly. I do want to apologise because I do remember meeting you. We met under Mount Smart on the other side. I do remember.
No, it's all good, man.
It's all good. Arsehole now. I feel like an absolute cunt.
I wanted a shit story about Aish. I wanted him to go, I asked for, I had this great story lined up. I went up to talk to him. He goes, no, who the get out. I'm big time. I'm big time Aish.
I got nothing but good things to say about Blake. It was a good one. And also I covered that the Canterbury Cup team for the rest of the year as well. So it's the loneliest job in New Zealand sport.
That's what I was thinking though when they were talking about the NRL, going forth with no crowds. I was like, if anyone who works for the Warriors or around the Warriors or covers the Warriors have been to the game before them playing, there's no crowd. It's like that. That's what they're going to play in front of. And
yes.
All the players have been in reserve grade and then played in first class. So it's not like it's not much different to what they're used to really anyways.
If they really want the full Mount Smart Canterbury Cup effect though, I don't know if you guys know, but in the grandstand during the week, in order to keep bird life out to come and stop shitting all over the seats and whatever, they play this animal sounds through the speakers.
Do they?
All this, it's on repeat of like it's like a chimpanzee going like all this crazy shit that's happening, and I'm up in the box by myself. And during the Canterbury Cup race, they don't even turn it off because it's so. I was freaking out the first time I was up there. Covering that team because like, what the fuck is this stuff going on? And I was like by myself, and it's quite scary up there because it's fucking cold and wind's whipping through and you're miles away from everything. But yeah, so that's my experience of covering that team.
That's incredible.
Also,
That's fantastic.
One other quick one about that one. Got another great scoop out of that as well. I got to interview Michael Jennings when he got dropped from the Parramatta Eels down to the Wentworthville Magpies. And they'd told me, hey, can you go talk to him after the game, like about what it's like to play for Wentworthville? And I was like, oh, shit, he's probably not going to be too. Yeah, and he came out, and my first question to him was, so Mick, when was the last time you played first grade? And he just looks at me like, fuck you, mate. So I was like, whoa, okay. So Wentworthville, tell me about that. But he was okay. He was okay in the end. And then I ended up writing a story about him, and I mentioned that his partner was having a baby, but then I sent it off to the website, and the website put the wrong girl's name in the story.
Oh.
And he rang me from Australia and was like, mate, my business is fucking blowing up. Can you sort it? He was all good about it. Like I was like, mate, it was a mistake. I didn't even know because I didn't even read it. And then I was like, he goes, it's not Kayla, it's Taya, or I don't know, something. And I was like, yeah, sorry. And then his missus emailed me. It was like, this is really disgraceful. I'm like, I didn't even do it. I just put his partner, and then someone else had put in the wrong name.
Jamie, you've got to keep this theme on because that's fascinating. Any other times where your writing has got you in trouble without you even knowing it or with knowing it?
Oh, I don't know. It's pretty hard to kind of get yourself in trouble because I've obviously mostly covered the All Blacks. I look fondly at my time with the Canterbury, the Warriors reserve grade team because it's just kind of such a weird situation to be in. But I think the one thing that's definitely got me in the most trouble was when I said that the Crusaders should change their name. That was got a lot of feedback on that.
Any by memory? Any favourites by memory?
I mean, some of it was pretty bad. I'll put it on that way. But I couldn't believe how many amateur historians there are out there in New Zealand that have these really forthright views on the Crusades. I didn't realise it was such a big deal. So that story obviously came out March of last year. So I get an email about that every few weeks. Someone has stumbled across it and decides to let me know what they think about the issue.
So you get emails quite a bit from people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So before that, the number one topic of feedback was the Israel Folau issue as well, which was really interesting for me because I approached it in a pretty balanced way. I thought I came out and said, like, look, this is not I wasn't looking at it from a particularly moral point of view. I was just looking at it as an employment point of view and just putting out the case and said, like, hey, look, you have rules when you're at work. This guy's broken the rules. He's been warned. Now they're entitled to sort of do what they want with them, no matter what your view on this issue is. It's just like any of us. When you get trouble at work, you get warned and you get sacked. It's not, it's not pleasant, but that's just what happens. There's rules about this. And my God, the next day, every religious nutcase from in this whole country decided to let me know about going to hell.
But Jamie, it's like you said, right? You thought to yourself, okay, I've got to approach this delicately, and here I am, and I'm going to say about Jamie's gone. Oh no, there he is. I'm going to approach this delicately, so I'm going to talk about it as an employment issue, and then you find out that people thought that you were taking on religion yourself, right? Is that what it felt like coming back at you, like?
Yeah, absolutely.
Religion shit.
It's an interesting one because I definitely wanted people to, read what I had to say, but I knew full well that people were just going to take it at face value and go, this guy is against what I believe. And so you kind of have to weigh that up, and you kind of have to sit there and go, before I put myself in this position, before I submit this piece, are you ready for what's going to sort of come your way afterwards? And I think that's anyone who is an opinion writer has to make that decision before they hit send. So I thought about it. I did it. I got a lot of feedback, I guess you could say.
I love how you're using it as feedback. You've sanitized everything down as feedback.
I guess I'm not telling you guys anything you don't know, having worked in sort of talkback radio, but it was a bit overwhelming when that started happening, because I was like, I can't believe just how much. First off, that you would look me up and send me something, and then you would write that much. And like, how much time do you have on your hands? Really? Like, you spent more time writing that than I did writing the actual piece. Like, because those things are actually really easy to just knock out. Like, it's not a hard thing to say. I just explained to you the whole gist of the whole story, which is just it's an employment issue. Then you just got to turn it into 600 words.
Did you get any from the other side? Like, not the religion side? Because I was thinking it's like a lose-lose situation, isn't it? Like, everyone's either going one way or the other. Like, if you go right down the middle, they'll probably attack you.
Yeah. It's. I mean, I was definitely leaning on the side of like, well, he's said what he said, and he should be fired, and it's going to be best for everyone that he goes. But it was interesting the amount of people that it just flat out said like, oh, well, I'm not religious, and I'm not, I don't agree with what he says, but he definitely should be able to say it. Yeah, but that was actually the most overriding thing, and then I said like, well, no, that if you actually read what I said, he doesn't have the right to say it, because that was the terms of his job. Probably people talking about this on your comment section as we speak. Sorry to have brought it up again.
No. This is the thing. Like, I would like to think that the people who are watching and are following at least Mark Head Sports are a little more they're not going to be so labour intensive that they'll get on and email you and then write a vlog about what they think, or a blog, about what they think. And B, I kind of feel like the way you just summed it up makes sense. If you've been warned by your workplace that they do not want to see any more of this, by all means, keep believing what you believe. You just can't put it out on social media because that reflects on us. You understand? Cool. Go away. He does it again. Sorry. Game over. Like, the way you just explained it then, and I read your piece at the time, and I thought, yes, I would like to think this piece gets straight through to the keeper, and no one's going to have a swing at it. But clearly, you've got a pile load of people who just don't read it properly or don't understand life.
It's I mean, obviously it's a headline game as well, and I understand that as well. You know, whenever you put something out, a lot of people are just going to see the Facebook post, not actually read it, comment on it, and it turns into that. There's a few other examples as well. Some that are really kind of surprising as well. I got this really, really full on, really racist email after I wrote. It was after the Football World Cup a couple of years back. I ended up covering football for a month, which was awesome. I really enjoyed it because it was just something a bit different. And I remember after the final, I thought, what wasn't that cool that France won, and their team is a really nice representation of France's culture and
modern France.
Modern France. Yeah, and then Kylian Mbappe is the sort of hero, and he's a son of immigrants, and what a cool story. And I wrote just a pretty innocuous piece because I'm no football expert, but it was just like, hey, isn't this cool? And this guy sent me this like 1,000-word manifesto about how immigration is ruining Europe, and I was like, oh mate, like where did that come from? Man?
Yeah, forward NZ police.
It makes you gutted that they exist.
Yeah, and then he complained to RNZ as well, and I had to have a chat with my boss, and I was like, oh, I didn't do anything. Like,
that's on him. That is on him.
But I mean, like, if you're out there, mate, if you're out there, I hope you've cheered up because, to get that unhappy about a young guy playing football in a World Cup final is just like, it just blows my mind.
Yeah, I never understand it either. Jamie, let's kick with the headlines then. Headlines in rugby today. The idea that the goalposts are no longer a scoring mechanism for an.
Hang on, I think you got here we go. Look at that.
And you know what? You wrote something that made me go, "Fuck yes. Yeah! Why wouldn't they do that?" So your idea was, and I don't know if you're being serious with this, but doesn't it make more sense just to move the goalposts back so the try line's further forward, like and there is
American
no way
football
you can.
Ones.
Yeah, like the American football ones.
Oh no! I wasn't even thinking American football. I was just like, move it like a meter back,
right?
So you can defend in front of them.
Yeah.
That's all. I've thought that for years, but to be honest,
scoring
like
up against the post.
Yeah, I also like it's one of those things where I was like, when they change this rule, I'm gonna spit at it because it's such not an issue. Like I can never remember it actually being something that has cost a team a really important game or anything like that. I also think it's one of those things that rugby league would have changed like really early on. Like it's probably, I don't think it's a rule in rugby league. Like I should know this. I do actually referee junior rugby league, so I should know. I think it's one of those things that rugby league changed, that rugby union said, oh no, we're going to stick like this because we don't want to be like you guys. And you'll actually see that the evolution of rugby rules is just this really slow drift towards what rugby league. And if you look at a game of rugby union now, it's essentially just a game of league from before they made limited tackles. Really, when you think about it, it's 15 guys across a field, just in a line, just banging away, and then one guy will kick it. And I think it's one of those things for me anyway. It's a really underlying theme of rugby union that it just doesn't want to admit that that's what's happening, and that's why it gives different names to things that are essentially the same in rugby league. Like how in rugby league it's a video ref, so rugby union had to call it the TMO. Things like
just
that.
in case.
Yeah.
Do you think that they could, because in rugby league, I know the pads are smaller.
Yeah.
Maybe because I reckon if you move it back a meter or even back further, it's hard because when you play touch footy and things, sometime maybe on a field, it's a bit, you run past the line. It's sort of like a thing.
Like, what are we doing? We've just discussed how much of a shit fucking move that was that they even changed the rule. Like, it's not worth it. Like, it literally, Jamie's just said.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, right. Would you not like even make the post?
We shouldn't give it any of our time or attention. Literally, that's sort of it.
I'm trying to fucking be a reporter.
Hey, we shouldn't care at all.
I like what you said, Blake. I liked it. No, he's on the same page as me. So
see, Jamie, we need you on the show because this guy, it's just shit, mate. It's bloody bullying. Daily debrief bullying.
I've got him. I'm in his head all day. Now, Jamie, so some of the other things that obviously have popped up with World Rugby, the idea that old mate's going to stay in charge of World Rugby.
Yeah, well,
Beaumont.
Pichot's just stepped down, a couple of hours ago I saw.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Pichot's
Pichot's resigned and gone, which is a shame because he seemed like a guy who, I don't know, he seemed a bit exciting and a bit interesting and a bit fun. And it seemed like he wanted to do good things. Jamie, what was really going on there?
To be honest, I wasn't that heavily emotionally invested in him as much as I think a lot of people in this part of the world were. To me, I think the problem is just World Rugby as an organisation. It's just still, and my experience of being in contact with that organisation last year in the World Cup, is just that it's just so old school and so, rich public schoolboy, the whole feel of it, that even if they brought in a guy like Gus Pichot to change things, I don't think it would, because it's just run on this theory that the British Empire kind of still exists and is still there to tell everybody what to do. And it doesn't work like that. And that's why he was never going to get it, because he's Argentinian and they fought a war against those guys not even that long ago. So I always kind of knew that Bill Beaumont was going to win. And anyway, even if he had, I don't know how much was going to change. That, of course, was before this fucking virus situation happened, which is actually going to force them to do something, because I think right now what you've got is everyone's going, okay, well, this sucks, but the one good thing that's going to come out of it is we can hit the reset button on everything right now and change it. So now Bill Beaumont kind of has to do that. And if he doesn't, if things just go back to the way they were next year, people are just going to go, well, why you're really wasting an opportunity right here. And then the most important thing is obviously aligning the season a little bit better, so we can have more meaningful test matches.
Right. So that's the thing for you, is you'd like to see system really a change more in the system of how they're doing things. Because that global system, I guess the global season is so hard, right? Because obviously different seasons all the time. It's hard to agree on. When do you suspect would be one, if it was going to go through, when would the best chance for that be, do you think, knowing as you do the way that the North votes, how many they've got and how many we've got?
I think whatever happens, it'll be sort of heavily weighted in favour of whatever the North wants, which I guess, sort of looking at the state of rugby and interest in it right now, you kind of can't really argue with that.
France is the ones that are playing it right.
Exactly. And you look at the Six Nations and you look at the fact that it is drawing 70, 80,000 people to every game, and the amount of money that brings in broadcast deals. And then you look at Super Rugby, God bless it, and it's being played in front of 3 men and a dog. And any test that's not involving the All Blacks in the Southern Hemisphere would be struggling to get sort of a 3/4 full crowd. So they really have the kind of bargaining power now, I guess. And fair enough. So there's more people up there, there's more money. And if rugby kind of wants to keep itself healthy, it kind of has to follow that lead. That's why the All Blacks have played Northern Hemisphere tests, every year for the last sort of 20 years, I think.
That's the money bags, man. That's where the money's at.
What if they say you can have our matched up season, but we're going to go through December, January, February? Would you take that if you were New Zealand and Australia? Because man, imagine being the Aussies trying to play them. It's hard this year.
If that's when Test rugby was going to happen, I think that obviously climate-wise, it's going to be pretty bloody difficult to play rugby in South Africa and Australia in December, January. What I think will probably happen is it'll be more like that's when they'll play up north in their winter. They'll play. They might shift when we play our season to a little bit later in the year, more around sort of when those autumn tests, October, November, are getting played in the north. So still good enough down here to mild enough to play rugby, actually, which is actually a pretty good time, because if you remember, that was when the World Cup, they held the World Cup was at that time of year, and it was actually pretty pleasant environment to play. So I'd like to see something like that, and then use the rest of the year to play Super Rugby, provincial rugby, and then up north you'd have your club rugby going.
Jamie, you had a very storied career for Pōneke. You're a hooker, weren't you? Were you a hooker?
Yes. Oh, well, actually, I still am. Cool. Unfortunately.
Did you did you smoke anyone? Anyone that you can like ruin right now on screen and be like, "Fuck, you should have seen it with."
I was Dane Coles.
Yeah, this dude came at me.
Dane Coles.
What division? What grade were you playing in?
I played the last team I played for was the senior first, so the Premier Reserve team. But before that, I played in the under 85 kg team, believe it or not.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And that team was pretty successful. We won six provincial six union titles in a row. And I think at one stage we won 43 games in a row.
Remember before COVID too, they were gonna make the 80,
they're gonna get
85s.
Yeah.
You could have gone back, boy. You could have brought back the.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm far from the most famous Pōneke 85 kg player. We did have tall, skinny, half Māori guy show up and play for our other team one time.
I know who that is.
He's gone on to do pretty well for himself. His name's Taika Waititi.
He
I've
does.
heard of him.
Those, yeah.
So yeah,
Was it
and
Animal?
also, I never really got to see him play because our team was playing at the same time. But I just remember seeing him around, and then I saw him in a movie a few years later. I think it was Scarface. Oh, I know that guy.
Hey, it's that guy from rugby.
That's right. That's right. Sorry, you go.
It's funny though because Pōneke's got a lot of fingers in the New Zealand media pie. Obviously yourself, Mark, me, and Nisbo. Toby Robson used to.
Oh really?
Yeah. He was one of the high ups at the club now. And Jim Kays as well. Jim Kays used to play there. So yeah, few guys floating around.
That's the one, man. Pōneke all over the place.
Yep.
Jamie, just quickly as well, we need to hear about your new book. What you?
Oh yes.
Got to give yourself that plug. Can you turn around to your bookcase and pretend you've got it with?
Yeah, do the
read us an excerpt, perhaps.
I could show you these. These ones I've already written.
Oh, there we go. Look at those.
They're good, those.
So that's the first book I wrote last year, Brothers in Black. Story of brothers, which we talked about in great detail last year. And then this is Heroics and Heartbreak, which is the story of the All Blacks 2019 season. Obviously, the ending isn't as happy as we thought it'd be.
But you wanted that ending, eh? You wanted that ending.
You wanted that for your book.
Shit to write about.
Yes.
But I tell you what, it actually worked out. Funny story. So it wasn't originally called this. It was originally called Chasing Glory, and the font, this was all gold. So we changed it to Heroics and Heartbreak and made it bronze. But if you remember, boys, when we were in Tokyo, so I was just finishing off that last bit of this book there. So it's a story of me traveling around with the All Blacks last year. I'm really, really proud of it. I think it's something that I'd been wanting to do for ages, and to have the opportunity to do it was awesome. Sorry, man.
No.
How hard is it to write a book? Is it hard to write that book? Or
nah, mate, piece of cake. It was just like writing 1,000 Facebook posts. It's all it is. It was just me just talking about what I did every day for 12 months, and it was pretty easy because I was going to all these cool places.
Well, mate, because
he's a fucking author. He writes books.
Mate,
what the fuck?
My job. Before I got on here, I was going to write children's books. I was going to be an author.
Okay.
That's why I asked.
Okay, I see. Okay, I'm sorry, Blake. I'm sorry. It was a great question.
Hell.
Can you tell us about the new book, please? You're going to get it, Blake, when you come home.
Yeah. I'm really excited to be able to share with you guys that got a new book coming out. It'll be in July. It's called Facing the Haka, and it's a book I've co-written with a guy called Andy Burt, who works for New Zealand Rugby, and through his connections, it's an officially endorsed New Zealand Rugby book. If you told me I'd be writing a book for them after I'd written this, I wouldn't have believed you, but here we are. And it's a coffee table book. So for you people out there that aren't big readers, it's full of like really nice pictures for you. So it'll be about
Yes.
Sort of like
Blake asking
this
how
sort
hard
of
it is to take a
size. It'll be,
photo.
but look, way nicer than this.
Yeah.
Nice hardback book. And it's the story of mostly opponents who've played against the All Blacks over the years, and their stories, and what it's like to run out and face the haka and to play against them. Pardon me. Obviously,
What
a
the
lot
fuck
of
did you
the
eat
stories
for
you
dinner,
probably-
Jamie? This is the second time
Fuck,
you've stalled up, mate.
These quickies.
Sorry.
Jesus.
Bye.
You need those chewy quickies.
Sorry, I'm in a
I
really
see the good
good
ones.
mood.
You are. Just
Go
calm
on,
down,
everybody.
you.
Mate,
Jesus.
calm
Sorry.
the fuck down,
You're
bro.
You're this
Sorry,
close to
Jamie.
level 2 and you're...
I know it feels like that. Like I feel like this is it. Like we've got one more tomorrow. We can escape, right? We can go and do shit. So look, first
Can
of
we?
all, apologies.
I'm still confused as to what we can actually do.
Everything. Fuck it. We're
yes.
going off to do everything. I'm done with
But
Don't
in
this.
over
groups
bash
smaller than
Mark.
10. In groups
Flying
smaller
back
than
to
10.
bash Mark tomorrow.
Bring it, Blake.
Yeah, there you
Can
go.
I finish playing my book?
Yes.
Sorry,
Sorry.
mate.
Sorry.
You go.
Yeah, sorry. No, but anyway, it'll be out in July. It'll be, and obviously it's going to be a fantastic Father's Day present for every.
Great
Oh,
idea.
no, yeah.
That's a
for
great
book
idea.
for Dad. And I just think it's something that's a bit different as well. It's not just a regular kind of yay the All Blacks book. Obviously, there's a lot of stories about the All Blacks winning in there because that's what they do. But we've focused on a wide range of viewpoints about the All Blacks, and not all of it's good. Some of it's a bit more, but I think people are going to really, really enjoy it. And so I was just lucky enough to get the opportunity to do that. So I've been also really proud to be able to say I've written 3 books, or I have 3 books out in a year. So yeah,
That's awesome.
That's bloody
man.
good.
Good for you.
It's not
You're
that
prolific,
hard.
mate.
It's not that hard.
So
I'm
that-
gonna do it.
Wow, he's sulky.
I'll give you a
Jamie,
hand, Blake.
yeah.
I want to hear
Dude,
it.
Thanks.
just do
Hey, we can-
Blake's book.
Go
You
on.
should do Blake's book. Blake, we could do
Blake's
a
book.
book.
I've already
That's
written
the
one
name of
great
it.
story about him.
Yes.
So
It
there you go.
was.
Most clicked on story ever.
Yep.
So
Ever.
let's start writing
Eat
it. We,
that, Pid.
Vegas 1, Vegas 2, and we do the Vegas 3 story. Best
Yeah,
place you've
you're
ever been out,
definitely
Jamie.
coming,
Best place
Yeah,
you've
best-
ever been out on the piss. Where was it? and
Best
what'd you do?
junket. Where is it? What'd you do?
Stefan. I'd say the first one I did, which was actually just a glorified piss trip.
Yes.
Was,
That's
I
what
got
we
myself media accreditation to the Hong Kong Sevens
Oh,
three years ago, and I just got the pass, walked through the gate, and then just got straight on the piss for 3 days
Yeah.
with my mate.
Did you go costume? What was it?
Yeah. Oh, I can show you actually.
Yes, here
I'll
we go.
get it.
I love it.
I don't get it. Pid.
you're fucking dead.
You
What a dumb
fucking
question. He's a
idiot.
fucking author.
Yeah, mate. It's a
She's
fucking.
back.
we
oh,
had
that's
these-
fucking
we
nice.
had these beauties made, these nice tuxedo jackets, and just to honour my club's
Oh.
heritage.
Gee.
Oh, yeah, nice. Yeah.
Very cool.
So yeah, a friend of mine and I went up to Hong Kong. I don't know if you guys have been, but if you haven't, I would highly recommend
been in
it.
the airport.
Of course, once the sorry, I just check, so let's see if it still fits.
That's a little tight.
Oh,
A little
tight.
tiny.
Little
Yeah, a little bit
tight.
lockdown.
Oh,
Oh, no, you got
Lockdown.
there, you got there.
There
And you
we
can
go.
sit in it. It's all right, as long as you can sit in
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's an amazing event. Like everything I thought about going when I was a kid, and so it was something I'd wanted to do for like 20 years. Yeah, I'd love that. In terms of actual work, junket, I think Argentina's a really awesome place to go to. The people there are amazing. Obviously, the food's amazing. And over there, the All Blacks they're really chilled out. Like it's like dealing with a whole different set of people. Like it's just I think it's
Well, they're
just
full of
because
meat.
and I think it's just because they're not, they're in a place where they can kind of just walk around and people aren't going to just totally mob them. Like they do get a lot of attention. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And it's just cool to go out to that crazy old soccer stadium that they play at and like have them play.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, you bet.
Yeah, no, and have them playing in front of a stand with like barbed wire around it and stuff, and you're sitting in like the world's cruddiest media area and like no one's speaking English, and yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah,
200
I'd
laser
say
points.
in terms of work wise, like that was was pretty awesome.
What about work-wise? Did you interview any dickheads, or like who's the biggest dickhead, or what's your biggest?
You're walking yourself into this one.
No, I want to hear. That was good. I turned away because I thought it was going to be a terrible question, and I was like, oh, hang on.
Nah, because you always think it's going to be a terrible question, and then our guest always goes, "Good question."
Jamie, I apologise.
No,
it's been a long lockdown. Blake and I need to punch out.
Oh.
That is a good question, and I do get asked that a lot. I think, just having to deal with the All Blacks so much, it's not so much like a dickhead thing. It's just you get this feeling that sometimes just, and I'm sure you guys know this working on radio, I mean, people kind of can't be fucked.
I know exactly what you're saying. Yes,
I'd kind of rather people were dickheads than they can't be fucked, and that's kind of what sticks in your mind when you have a press conference. It's like, why did we even do this? Like, you clearly just don't want to be here.
You know what, Jamie? You wouldn't get that off the Wallabies, mate. World class. Wallabies.
It's interesting. It's good. I'm actually going to agree with you on that one, because the Wallabies are actually really good to deal with. I've never had a bad experience with them, and I think it's just because they're like private schoolboys, and they just their brains are tuned to like how to talk to people. Like Michael Hooper's like a really engaging guy. Like, it's funny though when you go back and watch what he said and like what Kieran Reid said, they essentially say the same thing, but he's just got a way of saying it that kind of makes you think like, oh, you actually mean it. But in terms of dickheads, like, it's not so much the players, it's more the kind of people around them. I'm not going to name any names, but
we all know. Well, people who've worked.
But in terms of, I will tell you I definitely had the most intimidating person I've ever had to talk to was Serena Williams. Like, that was like I was shitting myself having to talk to her. Like, she's
because of excellence.
Just because of everything.
Vibe.
She's definitely got a vibe. She's scary. She's like in a good, like an impressive way. And you realize you're sitting there, you are like probably the best person who's ever done your job ever. Mm-hmm. Like, as a women's tennis player, you're so good at this, and you're when people talk about you, they talk about you in the same breath as like Tiger Woods and Michael Jordan and people like that. Like, you're going down in history as one of the most famous people who's ever lived, and I'm sitting a meter away from you, and I'm going to ask you about what you.
What did you open up with?
Yeah.
What was your question?
Is it hard to play tennis, or did something?
I only asked her one question, and I was gonna ask her. I asked her a tennis question, but I was gonna ask her about what she thought, because I was wearing the Warriors' new, the Bush shirt.
Yeah. The black and yellow one.
Given at Christmas, and I was going to ask her.
Fashion. Yes.
And because she was with Caroline Wozniacki, and they're both quite fashionable. They're into their fashion. I think they both have fashion lines. And I was going to ask her what she thought of it, because I was like, that might go pretty well. But I completely dropped nuts.
Drop nuts.
Totally dropped nuts.
Walked sideways into the interview. Hi.
Yeah, I like your tennis.
So you weren't always an author then? I just want to end my closing. You weren't always an author?
No. This I've only just started writing books like
somewhere. Yep.
Sorry, Jamie.
Like last year.
Sorry,
I only just started writing books last year. So
yeah.
But I actually had a very, very fucking dull career before I got into sports journalism. I'm not going to bore you with it, but it wasn't doing anything as exciting as this, and I'm very glad and very.
You're doing it bloody well, Jamie. You're doing it bloody well.
Thanks,
mate. And thank you so much for your time.
I'm very fortunate, and it's because of the help of the people around me, and that includes you guys as well. So I just want to say thanks.
I've got 2 of the books, mate. I'm very and I would be lying if I said I'd read both of them. I hadn't got around to the brothers one was there was a lot on the brothers. The clue was in the title. But I'm looking forward to finding some time to read the second one.
I said, the next one's got pictures, so
Yeah.
I'm all about pictures, mate. Thank you so much for your time, brother. We wish you all the very, very best. And we're going to get you back on again. This has been a lot of fun.
Yes.
At a time maybe where Blake and I have been, we've had a bit more time to ourselves and not been so aggressive in each other. It felt like we were arguing parents.
You get a room, Jesus.
Yeah. But thank you, brother.
That's great. No, thanks, boys.
Okay,
Stay safe, all right?
See you, buddy.
Enjoy level 2 tomorrow, boys.
Absolutely. On the quickies.
It's going to be amazing. Well, that is us. We'll just wrap up with the headlines for the day. So News Talk says that News Hub, I should say, reckon that talks are underway between England, Australia, and New Zealand for a cricket bubble this summer. So we need to get some cricket people on, Ped, to have a bit of a chat to in the next few days.
Wow. What have I got lined up for you? We have our very own cricket offering on Mark Peard Sports, and that's going to be introduced to you tomorrow evening on the Daily Debrief. Our new cricket vlogcast for all y'all to enjoy during the cricket season and the off-season. I think you'll really enjoy the people who are in it. Boys, it's been emotional. Blake?
It has.
Oh, mate, I can't wait to fucking fight you and get me wound up.
I was going to say apologies, but I'm not going to apologise after hearing
no
that.
apologies. We need to punch it out.
I'm going to headbutt your face off.
It's all love, eh?
Thank you all for watching.
All love in level 3.
Yeah. Okay, ka kite. Fuck you.